Well, it's August 1st. We've made it home finally from Florida after being locked down from COVID-19. Adam's done a good job of keeping the driveways up using the box blade, but now it's time to drop it off and get the brush hog hooked up. So stay tuned. This video is sponsored by LUBE SHUTTLE, the quality grease gun perfect for tractor owners. Get yours today using the link in the description. This is one of those times where I'm really glad that we put doors on each side of the barn. He's dropped off the box blade and he can go around now and just back right into the brush hog and hook up quite easily. This year we put on the stone guard on the back of the brush hog. We had it all last year and we never got it put on. This time we at least put on the back one. We're anxious to get started, and we'll get the front one on sometime later this year. This is a Titan 6-foot brush hog that we're going to be using. You can see in the background the amount of weeds that have built up over time. Just from about this time last year when we got it cut, it's almost like we're starting over, although a lot of the timber that we took down last year we don't have to deal with again. So Adam's out riding on the tractor. I'm just kind of going to sit on my butt for a while and watch him work and shoot some film for you guys. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the cutting. A lot of people ask me, what's it like running a brush hog? Well, a couple things. First of all, it's noisy. Brush hogs make a lot of noise as they rattle around going down the field, beating the heck out of that grass and chewing up the small twigs as it goes. And it's something that you don't want to get too close to. Here I'm going to do a little daring stuff though, just so that you can get as close a view as possible of this nice brush hog working. You know, I got as big a brush hog as I thought I was going to need. This is a 6-footer, but when you start cutting rough grass and you've got some decent acreage to deal with, man, that 6-foot width seems kind of small. This is 6 acres up in the front that we're going to cut, and I expect it's probably going to take us it's going to take us at least another 10 to 15 hours, I think, to cut it, just because we have to go so slow. Now this section that he's cutting today got cut last year, and then we were able to groom a lot of it using the box blade. So he's having a little bit easier time this year, knowing that there's not as many obstacles as we had to deal with last year. One of the things that I've thought about since I got this brush hog is that maybe it would have been smart to get one that's even bigger than the one I have. I mean, in terms of the amount of diameter it'll handle on trees. Even though this tractor isn't rated to do much more than it is, one of the things I noticed looking at the specs is that there's a significant difference in the thickness of the steel that's used on the deck between this particular brush hog and the next size higher. And you might think, well, you know, why do I need that for if it's built properly and it'll cut a 2-inch piece of lumber? What's the big deal? Well, here's what the big deal is. Last year, when I was cutting out in an unknown area, I came across a log that I didn't know was in there. It was probably about 4 or 5 inches in diameter, and once it got cut up underneath that blade, it just started whirling it around like a pair of tennis shoes in a dryer before I could get it shut off. And while it didn't damage the transmission or anything, it did bend that steel deck a little bit, so it's puckered the paint job. Of course, as you might expect, we're going to find a lot of mice scrambling away as we come tearing down with the brush hog. But one of the things we didn't expect is this year we had a big crop of grasshoppers, and as I was here filming it, they decided to move out of the field and move into the barn. So we're going to have a cleanup job with dead grasshoppers when we get back the next time, because they're not going to find anything to drink when they're in there. In Australia, they call these a slasher. I can see why. Sounds like we need to get out that lube shuttle and do some greasing on that rear wheel. I can hear it squeaking as he's driving down. So I'm pretty sure it's the wheel that's making the noise and not the universal joint.